Hello and welcome to the Dads of Adventure podcast. If you are listening on your favorite podcast app, you can also view this in video format on YouTube at the Dreams Magic Adventure YouTube channel. If you're watching this on the Dreams Magic Adventure YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe, and you can also listen to that on your favorite podcast app. You can also find Dads of Adventure at Dads of Adventure on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And check out our dadsofadventure.com page where you can find more information about our membership and get signed up for our newsletter as well. The membership consists of two parts. Great part where you get to talk to other Disney dads like Fred that I'm about to interview here, and we'll get to more about what he's doing, awesome stuff he's doing, and what makes him a Disney dad in just a moment. But we can also, informative information about just how to have a positive Disney experience, because that's what we're all about with Dads of Adventure, is helping dads to have positive life and Disney adventures with their family. And in that group, we're talking the language of Disney and sharing those experiences together, just to make everything and more enjoyable for us and our families. So with that, we'll get started here today. I am talking with Fred, aka Mr. Fred. And I will turn it over to him for a moment to just let you know a little bit about what he does, and we'll ask some questions, and we'll go from there. So,
all right. Hey, thanks, Scott. It's great to be here. I'm really happy we got a chance to talk. I know we've been messaging each other for quite a while, and it's exciting to watch the Dads of Adventure grow here. So it's fun. So just a little bit about myself. As you know, I'm Mr. Fred. I'm Mr. Fred to my students. So I'm a college level professor, and I've been teaching kids coding camps for, probably about 15 years. And I made this observation over the past few years that we needed to inspire and kind of light that spark of interest in learning more about coding, AKA software programming, and get kids excited about it. And actually anybody who's interested in it, interested in looking at it. So I wanted to create something that was easy and accessible and fun. I'm a firm believer in, learning should be fun. So we start off and we focus on building cool things. And I'm a Star Wars 1977 kid. I'm a Disney fan. So I'm also a video game kid. I'm an 8-bit graphic guy. So I'm an Atari 2600, which started me on my path. I always wanted to be an astronaut. I would love space travel. When I saw Star Wars, it really got me going. That's a whole other story. But anyway, creating GetMeCoding was my answer, my solution, or my approach to helping people begin to learn how to code. So that's what I do now. I'm getting ready to offer some new packages and tutorials, and there's just a lot of free stuff out there. So if anybody's listening to this out there, I'm sure there are. If they want, come out. You can go to getmecoding.com, and then you can find yourself over at the courses page and sign up. And I would love to work with you. I'll answer any questions you have, just like I do with my students. And yeah, we'll go from there. But that's what we do over at GetMeCoding.
Yeah, and just to give some context to that, I think, there's always talk out there of like how coding is an important thing, or maybe you haven't heard that coding is an important thing in today's world. And just to give some perspective on that, in middle school I had our computer lab teacher. They did like enrichment courses for the summer, and I had like one HTML course where I learned some super basic HTML, some of the tags that don't even exist anymore. I really like the blinking tag, that made the words blink. And I think I had like a Surge logo on my front page when I built it in GeoCities, but that so some people will recognize that, and other people are like, what are you talking about? But
no, yeah, you're showing a little bit of your age there. So that's, yeah.
But that one little piece of coding, and like one computer coding class that I took before I switched from engineering to business school was helped me throughout my career, because I work in worked in the technology industries, and just that those little pieces of coding have helped me to understand things better, understand how programs work. I can look at like a web page, and although I can't like code it from scratch, I can still kind of see problems and things like that. And that has come in, been helpful throughout life for sure. So,
Yeah,
um,
there's definitely no doubt about it. I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot of direct correlations that shows coding, helps critical thinking, helps logic and reasoning
Mhm.
skills, which I think almost every career, it requires, so
Yeah.
even if you wanted to come over to what I do at GetMeCoding, it's just to get you started, it sharpens the brain. It's simple, and it's also, I'll say this too real quick when we move on, but a lot of people assume software programming coding is for the geeks, and I said it in a loving and affectionate way because I am one, and obviously you are too, but the thing is, it's also one of those things that's incredibly creative. And I've had a lot of students who were more of the creative types start to
Mhm.
learn how to code, and some great things happen. It's not it always doesn't require a high level of math, depending on what kind of coding you're doing. It could
Yeah.
be whatever, as long as you're willing to work through the problems and you enjoy it. It's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's lots of problem solving.
Hmm.
And we'll get to some of the other questions too, but one thing I wanted to mention that, um, I found on Mr. Fred's website that I found pretty awesome is, if you've seen some of the BB-8 droids that are available, like in Disney Springs or on the Disney um, shops, and you see them like rolling around, with the little magnetic head on the top, where somehow magically it doesn't fall off. I mean, it's science, not just magic, but it's Disney magic.
Right, right, right.
But I didn't realize until I saw your YouTube video on this, that you can actually code those things. So so that's some of the things that I think
Yeah.
a Disney connection there. Too.
Yeah, that's where it all started. So, like I said, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and that's the Sphero line of bots. So
Yes.
there you can go out to Sphero, and you can kind of purchase all their bots. But they came out with that's the Star Wars series. Now, since then, I think Disney has moved on to their own line, or they're moving in their own line, and there's going to have some features in there. But you could buy those Sphero bots, the BB-8. I have a blast of them, and on the website, if you have the Sphero BB-8, you can come out and I give you some ideas and show you the app and
Mm.
how you could how you could write code. And so when I say write code with that, I like to start people off. So there's block coding, but you could even peel it back to another level, and it allows you to also to write some JavaScript. So you can learn how to write JavaScript so you could drag the block and you could see what it translates into the text code. So you could have fun in a variety of levels. But yeah,
Mhm.
I had a lot of fun putting that together, and you could definitely come up to the website and download the tutorials, or come out to the course and you could follow the steps that are out there. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I remember looking at it and like, okay, that seems simple enough to figure
Yeah.
out. So, but cool.
It's like a lot of things though. Like sometimes when you don't know these things hidden. That's like, as we were just talking before we got started here today. It's
Mhm.
like we go out and find the things. It's because it's what I do, and then
Yeah.
you kind of you still keep on searching. It's fun.
All right. Well, we'll talk. You know, I a very poor transition into other Disney stuff, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I asked you some questions, so we'll get to a few of them here. But I'll start with, um, what, um, and you can answer either one of these that you wanted to. But you mentioned that you had kind of your first Disney memory or your favorite Disney memory, and you mentioned you had multiple. Um, so if you want to pick, whichever combination of those, and we'll go from there. So
Yeah,
give an
it's
idea of your
so.
Disney experience.
Yeah, so when I was the first time I stepped foot in Disney, I was in Disneyland in California, and I was there on a family trip. It was a 3-week vacation where we met family members in Missouri, and they were out there with us, and we were all attending a wedding. It was well, I think I was probably 12 at the time, possibly. So that was one. I mean, just going out there with a big family, group of kids, just fantastic. So, and I think the thing that made that particular trip into Disney a little bit more interesting was spotting and seeing Ike Eisman, who was the star of the Witch Mountain movies.
Okay,
Escape to Witch Mountain, Return to Witch Mountain, all those. Yeah, so he was
I
he
love
was the
those too.
boy of yeah, it was the girl and the boy, and he was the boy. But the other memory, I mean, I think that it's like, growing up in the late 70s and the 80s, um, TV was a lot different than it is today, obviously. But watching The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday night was a big deal, right? And you would watch it, and I think for me at that time, not really realizing who Walt Disney really was, or the
Hmm.
whole mystique around the creation process. I just liked cartoons, and I always thought it was, so cartoons were a novelty, right? It was either a
Hmm.
Saturday morning event, or if you had a cable channel, you would maybe catch something, on the cable channels occasionally, right?
Hmm.
But so on a Sunday night on the major networks, you had ABC, NBC, CBS. Seeing a cartoon in the evening, that was a big deal. It
Yeah.
sounds so trivial right now, but I would love to see any of the Disney cartoons come out. And I think that's also another one of those little, building blocks that led me down to this path of always, really, really being fascinated and enjoying everything Disney does.
Nice.
Yeah.
And um, you said, and just getting into kind of like um, you as a Disney dad, what would you say defines you a little bit as a Disney dad?
Well, you can't, I know we're on Zoom and this is a podcast, but you're getting a subtle glimpse of what's going on behind me. And then if you were to look around me in various spots, you would see all kinds of Disney paraphernalia, books, magazines, maps, and everything like that. But I think, if you ask my family, they'll always tell you, well, he's either listening to a podcast or he's listening to the streaming Disney channel on the radio,
Yep.
or anything like that. And it's always that ability to create and such. I'm always digging into the material. It's always around me, and I never get bored of it. I really don't. I enjoy it. You always find something new.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's definitely an inspiration. Like everything that Walt Disney did, and um, just the like you said, like listening to some of the music and listening to some of the podcasts, learning additional details. Like I love that type of stuff. Like I would go everywhere from like some of the general stories to like I've one of the podcasts I listened to that I mentioned a few times that has just some great history is the Walt Disney World Family Museum podcast. Like it
Oh,
has um they have like these audio clips of like Walt actually speaking um and some of his relatives speaking and stuff like that too. So it's really cool to hear their voices and hear like that like ultra historical
yeah, right,
detail
right, right.
perspective. So yeah.
Well, and that just came out as wasn't that released as an app? Is there an app now for that, or
They
maybe it's
have
been
it.
out a while?
I like you can find it on like Apple Podcasts. I know. I'm not sure if it's on like Spotify and some of those, but
I have to check it out. I know that I just saw somebody talking about it the other day, and I thought it's something just like beyond the podcast. There was going to be something a little bit more significant on your smart
yeah. I
device.
mean, there
So
might be.
yeah.
I know like that they like right now they have a lot of things on Instagram where they're trying. I know they did like a virtual um, like gallery where
Oh,
one of their for some of their shows where you can actually like go through and almost like you were going through like a virtual tour of a house, but you could look at like they had paintings and things like that that you could look at
oh wow.
by going down the halls of their that was like mapped out and stuff. So
That's neat. Oh
yeah.
no, you're right though. It's nice digging into that kind of stuff. And there's something else too. I remember when you were asking me why I'd be defined as one.
Yeah.
I'm a big hands-on in the yard guy. I love landscaping. I think it's
Hmm.
because I'm at the computer so much. I like just shifting gears completely.
Hmm.
So whenever we're outside, not that my landscaping looks anything like Disney, but I always either I'll say it to myself or sometimes I'll catch myself even saying it to my son or my daughter. I'll be like,
Hmm.
Disney details, Disney
Hmm.
details, So, clip this, pick this up, clean it up, because I'm always fascinated. My family always tell you when we're in the parks, um, my favorite ride is the bench. Well, it's not really my favorite ride, but I'll joke about that because I just love to look around.
Hmm.
I'm because I think I have a really good appreciation for the level of work that takes, because I have to take care of my own house, which is, you know, quite smaller than the parks.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at it going, this is a lot of work, and it's beautiful. So yeah, so the Disney detail landscaping
Yeah.
reminders.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, yeah, all the things that they do in the parks that like go unnoticed, like, even like as we're recording this, the parks are still closed. They're about to reopen, but it's like someone was probably still there doing landscaping, because you can't let the landscaping get
That's
overgrown.
right.
You've got to still tend to things like that, and they're just still doing like the flag ceremonies, and which is pretty cool. So
Yeah, those
yeah,
pictures that were coming out were pretty impressive, weren't they?
yeah,
I mean, it was really and as a veteran myself, I mean, it was like it's special to see that type of stuff
hmm
still going on.
yeah. Um, so I appreciate that as well, for sure.
Hmm.
um, and um, yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about like some of our favorite things in terms of the park. So I asked you like what your favorite. I normally ask like what favorite snack, resort, and attraction. So um, I see some similar themes in two of those. So we'll start with like what's your favorite resort and snack, because I assume that they might be a little bit connected there. So
Yeah. So my favorite snack is definitely the Dole Whip. And with that, my favorite resort is the Polynesian. Now that becomes like our home base, like
hmm
that's where we love to stay. The first time walking through there, you know, and you're getting the scent of the flowers and the atrium there in the lobby.
hmm
And then they did the renovation and they changed it. And it's like, oh no, what about the scent? Like, are you? But
hmm
it still smells the same. It's
good.
still beautiful space. But it's such a great place. It's so immersive there. It's so peaceful. It's so lush. It's just a great spot, right? I mean, it's like it really is an amazing. It really does capture it. It's funny though. I was watching Blue Hawaii with Elvis Presley a couple of
hmm
weeks ago, and I was like looking at some of the architecture. Not that it was shot in Hawaii, obviously,
hmm
but and then you got the Polynesia. But I could see that movie at that period, and the way a lot of the pre-renovation Polynesian type look and feel, color schemes. I
hmm
could definitely see it was definitely rooted in the '60s or the '70s and so on. So
Yeah.
it was kind of, so now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, if I want to really get a feel for the Polynesian, I'll just watch Blue Hawaii again.
Yeah, there you
So,
go.
but it was yeah, but that's our favorite places there. And the
Nice.
Dole Whip, yeah, my favorite thing to do is grab a Dole Whip. Actually, in Adventureland,
hmm
I don't. I mean, I won't turn one down at the Polynesian there
Yes.
at the pineapple or at the Pineapple Lanai, but and in Adventureland, right there at the stand, but sitting on those rock type benches. They're benches,
hmm
but they were like rock formations, and over by the cannon. I just
hmm
love eating my Dole Whip and just watching everybody pass through that little concourse area there.
Okay.
It's fun. It's just fun watching people while they're sweating. You're sitting eating an ice cream, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Quickly sometimes, because
Yeah,
may
exactly,
it may be
exactly.
dripping too.
Right.
Now, are you a Dole Whip purist, or are you a Dole Whip float guy?
So yeah, I am a Dole Whip purist. So,
Okay.
but I do also I do enjoy it mixed with vanilla too. I'll kind of
Okay.
go back and forth some days. Yeah, but no, not the float. I haven't done the float in a while.
Okay.
Um, Now I wanted to do one out at in the Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
I know that they also add a little adult beverage to it too if you want to have a little bit of that. But
hmm
it's yeah, it's Animal Kingdom is usually 10 to 15,000 degrees warmer, so having that out there is nice.
Yeah, and I think the containers that you can get it. I don't know if it's for the Dole Whip, but yeah, that I think there's like a little like flute on the side of it
Yes,
or something like that. Is that
yes,
for one of
that
the souvenir cups?
yeah. I think that's one in Animal Kingdom, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because I
I
know that we
remember
got
seeing it in like one of the ABC specials where they go to Disney World, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not. They don't have that at the Pineapple Lanai.
No,
Or,
they don't. You know what I did? We did get the bowls though. We have the tiki bowls that were
okay.
there. They're when I remember looking at them and I thought they were like going to be ceramic, but you get in there with plastic. But that's
Okay.
okay.
Well, that way at least if they drop, then
True.
you're
You
not
want to be
gonna.
yeah,
Yeah.
be too upset.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I love like um, the Dole Whips, and I will. I like they had like a pineapple upside down cake type version of it that they introduced
Oh, ooh, that sounds good.
in the last year, I think. So, but it's pretty good. But yeah, I think standard Dole Whip or with the float. It just depends on the day. Like sometimes you need just pure Dole Whip, and other times
Yeah, exactly. It is. It
yeah,
does its trick, you know. And
yeah,
it's funny, you could eat a lot of them and you're never full, so it's good.
yeah. And yeah, I hear you on the Polynesian. Like I will stand down there like near like where Captain Cook's is, and like as many times as I've seen it, like the little case that's down there that has like all of the old records
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
books and stuff like that. I love to like just look at the details, and I have several pictures of that. I don't know what I'm going to do with the pictures necessarily, but it's like I'd like to find some of those sometime and just listen to them and see what they are, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely
That's
like
a
um, I I haven't done it yet because it seems rather weird, but I would love to record some of the music that's in like the bathrooms down there
oh,
next to Captain Cook's, because it's like really good music. But especially like at Christmas time, they have like a special soundtrack that's in the bathroom that's different than like what's on
oh really?
in the main area for whatever reason.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or
Because
maybe you
I don't
can
think
just
I've
hear it better. I don't know, but I think
well,
there's a special one in there. Yeah.
no, it is. I know we have a soundtrack and there is a website, I believe it's the Tiki Man that
Okay.
has a lot of interesting stuff. But there's yeah, it's just a great vibe to the whole location.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love roaming around it and even at night with the tiki torches being lit, it's just it's just a beautiful place. It's our favorite.
Nice. Well, I'll move on to one other question here. And you said your favorite. I'm not sure I understand. Oops.
Nope.
I was trying to get that off my phone. Siri tried to jump in there and answer the question for us, but I'll let you answer it. It's
Thanks.
just what is your favorite ride at Disney World
Yeah. So
or
when
Disneyland?
isn't it a crazy question though? Like sometimes you feel like you could answer it in a heartbeat, and then all of a sudden you pause, and it's like, well, you know what? I also like that one. There's just so many different things about
Yeah.
different experiences.
Depends on
But
the way that you're looking at it on a particular.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think when you prompted me with a question beforehand, I was thinking, Spaceship Earth, because Spaceship
Hmm.
Earth tells this great story. And being a technologist, um, traveling through Spaceship Earth itself and seeing the progression of information, it's basically the dawn of the information age. And I just love the history that thousands of years of history that leads up to where we are today. And I use it as material in the classroom, actually.
Hmm.
It helps frame things up. The first backup, I love when the libraries in Alexandria burned, the telling of that. I didn't like that happening, but the
Yeah.
telling of that saying, they had scrolls backed up in the Middle East.
Hmm.
So that's really neat. But I think the one ride that still just is just so fun to be on too is Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, I
Hmm.
love the feel of it, the smell of it, everything. It's just a classic vintage ride, and even though it changes subtly from time to time, whether you're adding Johnny Depp or mermaids or the redhead pirate now,
Hmm.
it's just also one of those rides that goes back and spans generations. But if I had to pick if I were to make this a top three, I think I would probably have to add, Space Mountain in there too.
Okay.
Space Mountain,
Yeah, we
just the
can make it
feel
a
of it.
top three.
Yeah,
That's really
there you
fun.
go. I mean, well, yeah, why not, right? Space Mountain. But there's just so many great rides. How about you? What's your favorite?
That is a good question. I'd say overall, all-time, like, combine, like you said, there's different contexts to that
Mhm.
question, but I think overall would be Small World.
Oh,
Just
wow.
um, and I think it's because it's like a family favorite too. Like my sons really like it. They know the movements of the animatronics, so like when they're going through, they're like, they've got the movements down, and for the
And
individual scenes too, not just like just generic animatronic movements, but they've got, and when they sing it, they know that too. And
that's cool.
so I
That's
just
really
love
cool.
the color, like all the Mary Blair, you know,
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yes.
um, it's just really cool. So um, yeah, so Small World's my combined, if you look at everything as a whole, favorite. Um, but I would have to say, just trying to think about, um, but probably like a modern favorite would definitely be like the new Rise of the Resistance. Um,
Yeah, and I haven't
and
been on that yet. I'm so looking
yeah,
forward to that.
I
Yes.
won't
Wait.
give anything away. It's
No,
just
yeah, no, please. I mean, I've tried to stay away from so
yeah,
much. I mean, I've heard bits and pieces, but yeah,
yeah,
that's a kid's dream.
yeah.
That whole idea, and the everything. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'll just say that the well, whatever system they put in place, however early it is that you have to get there, it's totally worth it
Good,
to
good.
do.
All
So
right, I'll be there.
yeah, but yeah, I mean that one just um, redefines a little bit, but yeah, I think overall, like some of the classic attractions, like they um, like you said, things that um, like if it were still here, I'd probably um, be trying to say, I don't know if I would actually say it's my absolute favorite, but the but if it were still there, like the backlot tour,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, that was, I thought that was so cool. You get to see all the special effects, all this
Yes.
props and everything, and um, I was I just got a VHS tape of my 1991 vacation as a family, and so there's some pretty like lengthy segments of some of the rides. Like it's not like the whole ride, but um,
Oh, that's cool.
so I got to see. I remember some of the stuff back there, like when they used to have like the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. But um, yeah, but that was. I think I got to be Al Borland one time
Oh, nice.
in a skit that they had going on. So yeah, that has so historical memories for me. So like things like you said, like Spaceship Earth, and um, I'd say like one that I try to go on regularly because I feel like it might be like the next converted ride, would be like the Grand Fiesta Tour,
Oh, right,
um,
right, right.
things like that. So
Oh, that's cool. No, no,
yeah.
that the backlot too, that was a great. It was great because it kind of like you said, it did a great job of inspiring you to understand like what all went into making the movies.
Hmm.
Um, because it still is. I mean, even with all the CGI and everything, there's still a lot of neat special effect
Hmm.
work, and that kind of tied it all together in a nice, tidy way. And yeah, and every now and then, like when you go through there, right? If you looked in the backlot area, you would catch a glimpse of something like Herbie or a snow speeder or something else that was left behind from the movies.
Yeah.
And I always liked looking for the Star Wars stuff, and that was long. Well, this is long before Galaxy's Edge, obviously, but even like it's long before the final three of the whole saga, right? So
Hmm.
it was just neat to see that stuff. So it was cool. That is a great ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and I recently watched like the Rocketeer when
Hmm.
Disney Plus came out, and it I watched it like once at a sleepover, like when I was like 10 or something like that, and I barely I remember it, but I don't think I paid attention to it. I didn't really like understand what was going on with it. But if you ever want to revisit Hollywood Studios, it has a lot of like I wouldn't recommend it for kids necessarily because it's got a lot of like 1990s like gangster
Oh, right,
violence
right,
in it,
right.
um, but it's definitely like straight out of Hollywood studios and
Oh, I have to,
um,
I haven't seen that in a long while either.
yeah,
And that's got to get added to the queue.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
definitely in there.
Now, well, I know we need to wrap up here shortly, so I'll go ahead and ask the question, just so we make sure we get in here of what would be some things that you would recommend to other Disney dads that can help them have a positive Disney experience?
So to make it a positive experience, I think if you're new to Disney, you definitely have to go in there with that expectation of do what you can, but don't feel like you have to do everything. I
Mm-hmm.
think you can make special moments happen just by being with your family, no matter where you are in any of those parks. I think if you feel like you have to go on that mad dash to see and do everything because, you've heard that there's this, that, and the other, you're going to just be stressed out and you're going to stress everybody else out. I think you have to just go down there with a plan, and that plan should be to enjoy the moment. And try to, do a little bit of homework beforehand, of course, make sure you're familiar with the general layout of the parks. But, you know, everything is an event, right? So I think one of the things that I've always been intrigued by when I talk to people that have never been to Disney before, but then when they go down there, they're a little overwhelmed, is that it's always the focus on the ride. And you, as well as, and I know that Disney is not just about rides.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. There's attractions, and the attractions are fun in the queue. The queues are interesting and
Mm-hmm.
long. I mean, now to a young person with your family, they may not want to be reading things and always doing all that. But then there's the food. The food's an experience. The shops are experiences. Seeing anybody along the pathways or the streets performing and all that stuff. I think all of that is really, really important to remember and to take it in. Like, don't just be in the rush. It's not like going to a local amusement park near your home. And then
Mm-hmm.
for the dads that have been going there, you know as well as anybody, then you know what to expect. But once again, I think, you know what, it's one of those things I always find, like, let the kids steer the ship for a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Let them guide around the park, let them explore, give them a map, let them plot the course for the day, and of course guide it along. But that's my best advice. I think sometimes we over plan it, and
Yeah,
that's when it starts to get stressful.
yeah. I mean, I think yeah, just change. Yeah, if you've been there a few times, changing it up. Yeah, and definitely, um, yeah. Whether it's a once in a while trip or not, yeah, you can't do everything, but appreciate the things that you're doing in between, because it's all there and all great. So,
Yeah.
um, but I'll go ahead and ask the final question here, which is because I loved your answer to what Disney character best represents you.
Yeah, I think I'm represented well by Woody.
Okay.
Now, when I say Woody, I think I'm also split with Buzz there. But Woody was great at organizing things. Now, I'm not saying I'm great at organizing things, but I find myself always trying to organizing things, and I say that on the heels of this answer of how to go about Disney. But the
Yeah.
thing is, when I look at my day, I really try to follow it up with a good organized approach.
Mhm.
Time blocking and scheduling and so on. So I used to always look at Woody when he would have those gatherings with the toys in the
Yep.
in Andy's room. I find that being me sometimes. And then also I think with Buzz, I think it's his just sense of adventure. It's like always going out trying to find the fun things out there, and maybe on a flaw side, taking himself too
Yeah.
seriously. So, but yeah, it's all good though. That's what I'd go with.
Yeah. I mean, you can have a combined character. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I
Thank you.
think, if we're getting like philosophical on Disney characters here, I think you could probably say that Woody and Buzz are like two sides of, different
Yes.
personalities, and combined they would be like the super personality. So,
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, they're the perfect team.
yeah.
I mean, that'd be a great topic, right?
There you go.
perfect teams of Disney characters.
Well, maybe we'll have to do another one at some point. Have
There
that,
you go.
just have that discussion only.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, okay, give me a ring and we'll jump on it.
All right. Well, all right. Well, I know we're out of time for right now, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up. But we'll keep that in mind for the future for sure. So yeah, for um, Fred, I'll go ahead. Yeah, if you want to mention, just kind of some of your places people can find you here again, and we'll make sure that's in the notes and things for the show wherever you find those notes, and
Sure.
and then I'll wrap us up here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again, Scott. Yeah, if you want to come out and try out some of the stuff to get coding, visit www.getmecoding.com. And you could find us also on YouTube, youtube.com/getmecoding and Facebook/.getmecoding. And give us a follow on Instagram where I share some insights to my day and some of the things that I'm working on also at Get Me Coding. So, and if you have any questions ever about getting started to coding or anything tech, I'll be glad to answer it. And if I can't find the answer, I know I'll find somebody that will have an answer for you.
All right, awesome. Well, and I'll wrap us up here. So again, come if you're listening on a podcast format. There is a YouTube version of this at the Dreams Magic Adventure YouTube channel. So check it out there and subscribe. And you can find us on most podcast apps. We just joined iHeartRadio and Spotify, so you can find us there as well. And then at Dads of Adventure on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And again, check out the dadsofadventure.com website, sign up for the newsletter, and come be a part of the membership so you can talk to fellow Disney dads like me and Fred. So
there you go.
Thank you again, Fred, for joining us. And I'll end it with how we end everything here on the Dad's Adventure podcast, which is go have an adventure with your family.
There you go.